Panhandle event, remember, guys, is on January 19th and 20th. The biggest thing is a free training event. I'm here with Ryan Cash today, guys. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Good.
So the bottom line here, guys, is I want you guys to understand that this event is free. We're doing a circuit training. Ryan is going to be involved in one of the circuit trainings. Here's one of the special things about the circuit training. That piece of equipment right there is called the Roof Tech. That is an all-in-one. It is the only one of its kind. It is a soft wash system, pressure washer, all-in-one. I'll tag a video in here. We go from surface cleaning right to soft washing the building. And I know a lot of guys are going to say, well, we do that with our pressure washers all the time. It's called downstreaming. No, this is different. Ryan's going to explain because it works just like a roof cleaning pump and just like a pressure washer, all in one machine. Tell them how that's done, Ryan.
Yeah, so the big difference is most guys, they're either using a 12-volt pump or, you've got air diaphragm pumps. You've got all kinds of different pumps you're using. But for the most part, I'd say guys are typically choosing between a 12-volt and a downstream injector. So this kind of gives you the best of both worlds for that. You get the high pressure, the low pressure you get with downstreaming. But also we are technically upstreaming. So we're actually mixing the bleach and the surfactants before the pump. So you can get those same better control, higher mix ratios that you get with the 12-volt, but injected through the pressure washer. That is all a lot more chemical resistant that can actually maintain and can handle the bleach passing through it. So you usually get the best of both worlds with this machine.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome stuff. And then basically, okay, so is it one switch or two switches and you go right from soft washing to pressure washing? How's that work? Explain it again really quick. I know in the video we did it. And I kind of know, but I want the viewers, I kind of know how it is, but I want you to explain it to the viewers. How simple is it?
Yeah, so if you look at, I get my direction backwards this way. So yeah, if you look at the control panel on there on the front of the machine, there's two of just those standard valves that you see on a lot of machines. That's going to be your bleach and water, and then next to it, there's a little small white valve. You can't really see that from that view. But what that is a float valve that gives you a little bit more control of your surfactant. So rather than just guessing based on how much foam you're getting, it actually has a float in there. It will tell you how much surfactant you're drawing typically between like 2 and 6 gallons an hour. So those are the main controls. And then you've got a pressure regulator. And so really to switch from soft washing to pressure washing, you go to the controls, turn off your bleach, turn off your surfactant, and turn up the pressure. You can switch over in 30 seconds, maybe less. Depends how quick you can spin a dial, but I'd say 15 to 30 seconds, and you can go from spraying your bleach and your surfactant to clean concrete.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. I know it wasn't too long. We were shooting the video. We might have taken 45 seconds, maybe a minute, but because we turned the machine off, we talked a little bit, and one of the things that I was really amazed at, that the soap, the way the soap's drawn, and it's different than other people do, and I know that a lot of guys have been asking me, hey, can it go more than the 2,000 psi? And we talked about this. In a residential situation, you really don't want to go more than 2,000 psi. Concrete in a residential situation can't really take much more than that, and it's really not something that's needed. Most of the time, guys are doing other things. It's the funniest thing. If they've got a 3,500 psi machine, they're reducing the pressure by using larger tips and things like that, where they're going down to safer pressure, so they're not jacking up residential concrete. So, and we talked about it. Hey, guys already asked, is there a remote? Can you turn it on and off? That kind of thing. And you answered the question beautifully. I think you guys are trying to get this part, in the field. This thing is a proven thing. It's already there's been one sold. They've tested it. Tell them about those kind of things that you've done with it, and how many maybe you guys have in the queue chalked up, and how many you're bringing to the event. Just let these guys know.
Yeah. So sorry. So we I think there's a misconception that we're going to be similar to a lot of the other manufacturers out there. We're a huge company. We've got testing facilities, we've got engineers, we've got chemists, we've got warehouses. So we've been working on this unit for about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. And that not only that involves designing and engineering and all that, but also sitting in our testing facility. We've got an actual warehouse where we brought this machine and we just ran it all day. We ran straight 12.5% bleach through it all day for weeks on end. And then every week our engineers would take apart the pump heads. They would look at it, inspect it, check for pitting and the steel and all that. And then put it back together and send it through again for another week. And so we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of testing on this. And then the same, we've got time in the field. We've got guys who are using it in the field, who are testing it out. We've got one guy in Chattanooga. He's using it with a drone, which is pretty cool. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on drones, but he's got it pumping up 50 to 100 feet, doing a lot of mid-rise buildings and then spraying from the ground with his drone. And so lots of time behind it to make sure that it's done right. And then on top of that, we're backing it with a 2-year manufacturer's warranty. And bonus, I think we joked about it when we were in Arizona together, but it also has a manual. So if I don't think that's very common in this industry, but we've got a manual. So if something goes wrong, you've got
holy cow, a manual. That's crazy.
But if something were to happen, you've got a parts list, you've got our number, you've got a warranty number, and we've got staff 24/7 who are there answering phones. We have a dedicated service team, a dedicated customer service team, and
they get to talk to you. You know,
yeah.
And I don't think you mentioned your credentials. It's not like you just sell machines. Okay, tell them a little bit about your background in cleaning, so they understand you know how to clean stuff.
Yeah, I've been in this industry for 10, 12 years. I did the actual cleaning part for about 10 years. And then I moved over to Legend Brands and did a lot of commercial cleaning and helping with that. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, switched over to this. But I mean, I've done everything you can imagine cleaning residential exteriors. I've done the long, I forget what you call it, the banana pole, the 20-foot high pressure.
The yellow noodle. We call it
the yellow noodle. So I've done everything from that to carrying 5 gallons of bleach concentrate on my back, spraying with a garden hose on a roof. I've done portable 12-volt units. Anything you can imagine how you would clean a roof, I've probably done it. And so that's what us launching into this has been, is, hey, let me take all these things that I've done and let's figure out the best way to do it and the simplest way to do it and the most reliable way to do it. And then that backing with engineers and chemists to say, okay, well, here's my vision of what I want. Now let's get the people who know the best about putting this machine together and make it happen and make it good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love visiting out in Phoenix here with you. It was awesome. One of the things I'd like to do again is, man, I would love to get back in and talk to the chemists. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, more people, more cleaners in our industry. And I don't want to beat up on it's not about education. It's about the lack of education that we have available. I think there's a lot of smart cleaners out there, and I don't want to sound like, hey, there's a bunch of dumb business guys out there that are running around cleaning stuff because they don't know what else to do. I think there's a lot of smart guys out there that understand that there's a science to cleaning, and behind that science, first and foremost, are those chemicals that we use. And I don't think people give that enough credit. They don't really understand the way the chemicals are going to work the best. We talked a little bit about it, and it was funny because, when you started when we talk about bleach and we talk about how unstable it really is, it was kind of refreshing to see a chemist say, man, it's just the craziest solution. It's just very, unknown to what it's going to do and how it's going to be affected and blah, blah, blah. And then all the conditions that does affect it. But one of the coolest things is that, and I think guys need to hear this, too much bleach, just like any solution, any cleaning chemical, when you start getting something and you guys always think more in a situation of chemical is better. and it's really not. There's what's called a perfect, amount, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
too little, it's not too much. But what do we always do, and I'm not saying it's inherent. We as people that don't understand about it, when we first start with, oh, more's better. Just it's dirty. Put more on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just your nature, right? Because you think that, oh man, if it's stronger and it's hotter, it's going to clean better. And reality is that's not even the way bleach works. Because the way, if scientifically, and I can't explain it, but when you know and understand the science behind how that oxygen molecule actually affects the pigment in the mold in the middle and actually kills it, then you
Mm-hmm.
start understanding it. And guys, right now, I'll tell you this right now, when you're out there and you're cleaning a roof and you're flooding it and you're not getting the results that you think you're getting, try misting it. Because sometimes when you mist it, you're not, the oxygen is allowing it to work faster and more efficiently, where when you flood it, you have to wait for the chemical to actually dissipate and dry in order for the oxygen to actually ignite and work. And I think that's I guess that's the layman's terms of explaining how that works a little bit easier. But it's funny that guys don't realize that. And I don't know if you know this, but there's a guy called the Roof King. I mean, and we're not pitching his stuff today. We're talking about Roof King.
That's okay. Yeah,
But he made a very good video, and I don't know if you saw it, Ryan. He was talking about how to properly spray a roof and how guys actually overspray the roof and waste a lot of chemical, and was talking about these 10-gallon-a-minute machines and 15-gallon-a-minute machines that people are using on roofs. They're just using a lot of solution in excess, and not that 6.5. I mean, or six. This is a 5.5, isn't it? Technically,
5.5. Yeah, 5.5.
5.5. It's a 5.5. 5.5, 6 gallons a minute, man. Most of the roof cleaners out there find out that this is a sweet spot. Even if they're using an air diaphragm, where an air diaphragm pump, and I don't know if you know this, can adjust the pressure, it can adjust the flow. That's one of the cool things about air diaphragm is you can get 10 gallons a minute, or you can go down to 2 gallons a minute if you need it. And that's one of the cool things about air. But even those guys will say, they got all that power behind them. When they're doing a roof, they're at 6 gallons a minute. That's the sweet spot. That's where everybody wants to be when they're spraying a roof, because they don't want to use excessive chemicals. They don't want to, try to do it too quickly. They understand that they're wasting chemical, and there is a science behind this, and there's a perfect combination of what's right. One of the things I always try to tell people, and I'll use this equation in concrete cleaning, and I don't know how much commercial concrete cleaning you've done, but if you wash if you wash a sidewalk, right, you got this big parking lot, right, and if you got all this volume of water, the volume of water is taking all that dirt and it's sweeping it out into the parking lot. Well, you can't take a mess from here and say, oh, it's in the parking lot now, that's not my problem.
Right,
you have to go clean that up. And I don't think guys understand that if you use the right gallons per minute on that sidewalk, you don't wind up with all that debris, all across the parking lot. You've contained it, you kept to a small area, and you're able to take that debris and you're able to push it and basically control it. Where if you got that 10 gallons a minute, you wind up cleaning 300,000 square foot of parking lot, and you only came there to clean the sidewalk. And that's another situation where more is not really better, because it winds up making you work harder.
I think the take home is more is not better, better is better, right? And so I agree completely. I think there's a time where you may need 10 gallons a minute. I think it's very rare, especially residential. I think it is very uncommon you would need that high of flow. But I think if you've got your right chemistry, you've got your right surfactants that benefit and increase the potency of your bleach, then 3% is really about all you need. Anything over that, I mean, I think there's always going to look at a site, and I'm convinced that if bleach was cheaper and pumps were cheaper, guys would spray 12% all day. They'd spray it around there. You see, I mean, there's something satisfying, right? You hit it hot and it vanishes in front of your eyes, but it's too much. You're going to kill plants. You're going to damage siding. You're going to damage metals, and there's a million different things that can go wrong with having too hot of a mix. But I think, like you said, I think you nailed it. You want the right mix, the right chemistry, and the right flow to just limit your liabilities. You're not going to have as much runoff. You're not going to be blasted everywhere, having overspray, having atomized bleach in the air that neighbors are breathing in, and that's landing on plants. And you can go on about all day of the benefits of doing it minimal and correct.
So before I get Greg's going to come on, and Ryan, you're welcome to stay as Greg comes on. I mean, because we'll talk back and forth. But the reality of this is that when they come out to the Panhandle event, what's really going to be going on is they're going to see the roof tech system. It's going to be set up at a training station, and we're not selling the roof tech system at this training station. What we're doing is we're doing actual soft wash training. He's going to be able to do some, show you guys how to do some surface cleaning, and you're going to be doing training with this unit. The beauty of it is you're going to be the only station that's going to be teaching basically a little bit about roof cleaning, a little bit about soft washing, and a little bit about surface cleaning. You'll be the only station that's able to do that, because all the other stations are either going to have a pressure washer, a soft wash system, or a roof cleaning machine, and they're going to be teaching it individually. Where you're going to be able to, with this all-in-one unit, you're going to be able to, you got the best of all three worlds. I mean, you're going to be able to teach them how to clean a building, you're going to be able to teach them how to clean a roof, and you're going to be, now, are we going to actually clean a roof in Florida? No. But you can show them show them the spray techniques, on the asphalt or on the ground, or, how you wouldn't use you use the proper tips to clean the roof with, use the proper tips to rinse the house with, use the proper tips to soak the house, or, and by the way, guys, we talk residential with this, but this machine, it's capable of it's a soft wash. It's a commercial machine, guys. Most guys in the industry are using 6 GPM. This is 5.5. That's what most guys, even commercially, are using. So by no means is this just a residential rig. I think for a residential system, I think it's probably the perfect machine. Okay, we can call it the perfect.
I appreciate that.
But I think that I want to dispel that. Hey, if I'm doing commercial stuff, should I buy this? Absolutely. You can use this machine. This is going to be a great soft wash unit, and you're going to get whatever concrete cleaning you got to get done. Okay, I'll tell this little story. Back in the 1900s, in 1984, I started. Pressure and heat met each other. This is a true story. It didn't exist. We were using 1,000 psi, 2 and 4 gallon a minute machines, if you can imagine that. You know what I mean? And that was state of the art. And when the 4 gallon machine came out and they actually merged heat with it, we were like, whoa, and this machine cost $19,600. Can you imagine? $19,600 back in the night.
You can get one at Home Depot today.
Back in the 1900s, you had to get a mortgage on your house to get this machine. Anyways, and that's funny because nowadays they cost that much, but back then it's like that was, and it was 2,000 psi. And on the demo, the guy cut a 2x4 in half. You know what I mean? Because I don't think people realize what you can do at 2,000 psi. I think people think because we hear 3,500, 4,000, we think, 2,000 is not enough. You can cut a 2x4 in half with a 2,000 psi machine, and I don't think people understand that it's plenty of pressure to clean, and people don't. I mean, they do understand. Volume does matter. I mean, the amount of volume that you have with a machine. This is no pea shooter. I sometimes guys get mad at me because I call the 12-volt systems pea shooters, because they just don't provide enough oomph and power for me. And so the bottom line is, guys, I think this is a perfect residential rig, and I think it's an adequate. It would be I would consider it as an entry level potentially as far as commercial, because obviously when you're doing a 900 square foot building. Yeah, you probably want more volume because it's going to clean faster and more effectively. But it's not like, here's the other thing. I don't think guys understand this. When you first start out, whether you're residential or whether you're commercial, you're going to start out, and residential is going to be the primary thing that you do. It's going to be 90% of your work. And if you plan on getting into commercial, I always tell guys, I'm 100% commercial. They go, well, I want to be 100% commercial too. And I go, well, you got to eat, okay? So being 100% commercial sometimes doesn't work because it just you don't have enough. You're not going to wind up with enough work right away to eat. Where the residential thing, we all know, hey, I'm not saying it's easy to get residential, but it's easier to get residential. Commercial jobs take a while, and I don't think guys understand that. There's an investment that you have when you start doing commercial that you have to you have to put in some time. People in the commercial world, and you agree, Ryan, they just don't hire you. They don't go, hey man, I need a pressure washer. Let's Google this. That's not how people in the commercial world work.
Well, on top of that too, you don't have most commercial. I don't know if any commercial jobs. You're not going to go job and do it the same day. You're going to have a bidding process and a quoting process, and you've got scheduling and all that. Whereas residential, man, if you're getting started, that's got to be your bread and butter. That's, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to knock on 100 doors a day, and I'm going to try and do 2 jobs or whatever it may be when you're first starting. Is you can start and you can do the work the same day.
Throw out the flyers and hey, I wanted to remind you, and I'll remind you now, in your Q&A, when you're done with your 40-minute presentation, it might not be a bad idea to think about those tips because we're going to have a lot of guys out there that are going to probably, I guarantee you, the most common question, how do you get business? I guarantee, no matter what we were training on, they're going to ask every person at every station, hey man, how do you get business? Because obviously at these events, that's one of the huge things. All the new guys come out to these things and they want to understand how we build these businesses. So I'm just giving you a tip right now. Remember that, because you're going to laugh at me after this when we're eating dinner on one of those things. How did you know that was the most common question?
Right. Yeah. No, I'll have an answer.
Here we are training guys how to wash, but the most common question is going to be, how do you get business? That's going to be the thing. Especially when they go, if I buy the roof tech machine, how am I going to get business? And I'll tell you one of the cool things. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big flash guy. My units look like tanks. They're built really good. I mean, and I build stuff that's all individual components. But I'm going to tell you something, guys. When you roll up and you got this in the back of your truck, I'm going to tell you something. If the consumer laying eyes upon your rig matters, if they're going to hire you, this thing is going to make a difference right here. This thing looks really good in the back of a pickup truck. I mean, you look professional. You look like you know what you're doing. If you throw a wrap on the truck, they think you're some huge franchise conglomerate. And that in itself, man, is a real big selling tool as far as I'm concerned. Because the reality is now a lot of guys are gonna. I already know a lot of guys are gonna go, why are the reels on the back of the rig? Why are they not on the Because if they're on the back of the rig, and I've built 1,000 rigs. Every rig I have, the reels are on the back. They're there for that reason. It's because it's multi-purpose. That way, if you're on the other side of the street, or if you're in a parking lot and you're not going the right direction, or if you got a dumpster area, or you got this or that to clean, they're on the back of the unit, and you can get to whatever you're going to get to from either side of the unit. And I think that's one of the reasons that you would say that they're on the back. But our industry is so. In the residential game, there's so much like, it's got to be on the passenger side, or it's not really a rig, and that's absolutely the most ridiculous thing. Now, I don't know where the gas tank was. Is that only gas tank on the motor?
Just on the motor.
Okay. So that's the only fuel cell you got. So that's okay. It's in the right spot because we fuel the truck from the driver's side of the unit. So it's on the you got it on my side. I hate this when they got the fuel cell. It's on the other side of the truck. I'm like, okay, so now when I fill up, I got to spin around, I got to turn around, I got to make 2 stops, I got to get the fuel. It drives me so nuts. And I'm not an advocate of the guys dragging the hose. I don't want to drag that hose. They're climbing over the top of the thing.
Right. Yeah.
No good when you're dealing with gas. I mean, you got to be able to get that thing in easily, and you guys have done that. I would like to see, man. I would really like to see a fuel cell. I really would. I'm just for safety, man. I like the idea of the fuel cell.
Yeah. So our distributor, if somebody buys this and really wants to, they can certainly plumb it in and run off of the truck fuel as well. In my opinion, I don't really think it's necessary. It's possible. They'll do it for you if that's what you want. But my thought with this is, along with being simple, I want this to be able to be taken in and out of a truck fairly easy. You can to remove this from a truck, you stick some forks in it, lift it out, pull it away. And so once you get into tapping into the fuel line of the truck and all that, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. But doable. If it's going to be sitting in the truck year round, then great. But I know a lot of guys in the beginning are pretty seasonal also, right? They've got the winter where it's too cold and they've got downtime and they're wanting to get this out of their truck so they can use it for other things, whether that's snow plowing or whether that's junk hauling, whatever it may be. So we want to make this easy, compact, and lift it out, get it out of the way, go set it in your garage for the winter.
Hey man, I am looking absolutely. I'm excited to see you roof tech system there, man.
Yeah.
Greg Tatum, have you met Greg Tatum, Brian? This is Greg
Hey,
Tatum.
Ryan, how you doing?
Good. How you doing,
Greg? Introduce yourself, Greg, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the event.
Okay, yeah. Greg Tatum and Superior Quality Coatings. A lot of you know me from Seal Wet. We also have the Green Flow product, which is the peroxide. And we're going to do our advanced color training at the show in one of our stations. The other station, we're going to demonstrate wood cleaning. Not demonstrate, we're going to train on how to wood clean. And also, we have a really good stain line that we're going to show you that's been out for quite some time right now. We've got a pro series coming out with it that's going to be really exciting. So we're going to show you some techniques that you can put down to recolor pavers. And I know a lot of you out there have tried it and had problems recoloring pavers, and so you walked away from it and gave up. We kept working and working for the past 5 years. That's been one of our main objectives. And we have a system down now that really does a fantastic job. And as you guys know, there's a lot of pavers out there, older ones that are better quality than the ones they're making now due to supply and demand. So we can take these old ones that people just want to tear out and throw out and get rid of them, and we can make them look better than new. So we're really excited about that, and we're going to show you a super great way. We're going to train you on how to clean wood using peroxide, and then also some staining techniques that we have.
I
think you
we lost him. We lost him. Technology. Oh well. Hey, he got some of it in. That's okay.
It sounds exciting. I'm excited to hear about everything they've got.
I know, man. I know. Well, hey, man, we're 28 minutes, Ryan. I don't know if he's going to make it back. I'll give him a couple of seconds, but I think we were at the end of our thing. So if he doesn't make it back here within the next couple of seconds, I'm gonna call it a morning. We'll probably have to have Greg on again. But yeah, it was. We're gonna have a lot of fun. What are we? A couple weeks away, man. A couple weeks away.
And 10 days to fly out.
Yeah. Let me see if we can get Greg in again. Here he is. Let's see if he can get him. There he is. He's got no camera this time. We don't have any audio. We got no camera, no audio, Greg. That's a bummer, man. Yeah. Well, hey, let's wrap this up, man.
Yeah.
Good. We'll see you on the 19th and the 20th, guys. Brian Cash, Roof Tech. Look forward to seeing all you guys out there. We're gonna have a great time. A couple weeks away. Are you coming in today early?
I'm flying into Nashville to go pick up our truck, so I'll be getting in there the 18th, like probably mid-afternoon on the 18th. Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure you get a hold of us on the 18th, man, so we can get going. Get talking. We'll have some dinner, guys. Ron Musgraves, Pressure Washing Institute, Contractors First, guys. NationalCleaningExpo.com. Register for the free show on the 19th.